In today's video, I'm going to show you how I make my Faux Blackened Beeswax primitive bowl fillers. You'll want to grab these ingredients, mix the salt and the flour together, and then add a couple tablespoons of cold water at a time. Continue mixing until you have a soft and pliable dough. I roll my dough into manageable balls and place them in the refrigerator to become firm, and then we're ready to get started. I haven't done anything with salt dough in a long time. I just took my salt dough out of the refrigerator. I did put it into 4 different balls in case I didn't need all of it. And then I picked out some cute molds. I'm going to try a star, a tart pan, and then I have a few hearts here. I thought I could make some cute ornaments with that. I have some crosses, and then I found this cute mold at Walmart, and I thought these ones with the stripes would be great for primitives. And I'm just going to leave the bottoms flat because all of these will just be bowl fillers. So if you were going to make ornaments, you would want something sharp that you can make a hole before you bake them. And then I have a plastic sheet down so that I can roll them out. They are still pretty hard from being in the fridge, so I hope these work out. So I'm going to take about this much because I really want the egg ones first. I'm just going to knead them a little bit. Warm it up. They feel kind of crumbly, so I hope this will work. And then we're just going to put it in the mold. I want to get this as full as possible. And then we're going to need a little more. This is why you need the plastic down, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little messy. And I want these bottoms flat. You won't see them in the bowl that we're going to store them in. And I'm hoping because it's silicone, it'll come right out. So we'll see. And it did. And it looks like this. And I'm not going to be too concerned with cracks and such. But I really like that. When we're done, we are going to prim these up. I'm not going to use a coffee stain because it is flour and salt. I do have some paint, and we'll put some of my sprinkle on there. And then I am putting them on a baking sheet with some parchment paper. Let's see if we can get one more egg. I'll take this one. These will be such pretty bowl fillers. let's try this again. And when the grandkids come over, I can help them make some little cakes, little egg cakes. This particular project was suggested by a lovely gal on Facebook who said that she really enjoyed my primitive crafts. So that was really nice. So a shout out to her. She knows who she is. And here is another pretty one. So we'll put that on the baking sheet. Let's try a tart. That one, I'm going to need to get some plastic wrap to put in so that it will come out easy. And I'll just put that down in there, and hopefully that will give me a quick release for this tart. We're just going to put that in the bottom. Start squishing it down in there. And then we're going to need a little bit more of this. You can really smell the salt in here. All right, let's squish that layer down in there. And again, I don't know how these are going to turn out. We will hope for the best. I remember making salt dough ornaments when I was little. And then I think we just need a little bit more for that last layer. And it's looking like this. And I think we will need one more layer after this. And not only will these be fantastic bowl fillers, because you're adding the sprinkle that has nutmeg, cloves, pumpkin pie spice, cinnamon, it is going to smell so good. I think we're going to need just a little bit more. Now we're going to tip it over on top, and then hopefully the plastic wrap will work. And there we have the cutest little tart. And it'll be a primitive tart. It caught all the details. That will be just fine. Before I do the star, I do want to get some crosses out of this. So we're going to need a bigger piece. Make them as thick as you want, But the thicker they are, the longer they'll take to dry, which is fine. And they should last for years. To store them, you'll just put them in a plastic wrap, Ziploc bag, and make sure they're somewhere where they're not going to get destroyed. And I think that's about 1/4 inch, and I'm going to try that. Or maybe a little more. All right, we're going to try our first one with the cross. And there's our cross. Again, if you were going to make an ornament, you would want to put a hole in that. We can get another cross out of here. And we have another cross. And I just put that on the cookie sheet. I think we can get some hearts. These would be so cute, these little ones, for if you made an Easter tree and you could put crosses on there. I think I will go ahead and cut that one right away. And we have 2 little hearts for our bowl. I've got the bottom layer of the star in the tin. And now I'm ready to start layering again. All right, this is going to be our top layer. And we may have just enough for that, and we can make a few more small ornaments. And then you can come around and just pull off anything that's off the side. And we're going to see how this one did. A pretty star. And I'm going to bake it with these edges. If I need to, I'll come in and sand off those edges. I wanted to try something before I put this into the oven. I'm going to take these crosses and put this doily over it and see if I can get an impression. Not so much. Let me try again. A little bit harder. That's better. And they each have a little impression. Just a little added decoration. Here's what it's going to look like going into the oven. Got 2 eggs, a tart, a star, 5 crosses, and 2 hearts. Our salt dough bowl fillers have dried, and here's what they look like when they're dry. I do see some cracking, and then the bottom's puffed up. Hopefully you can see that. But I'm not worried about it. If you wanted to, you could absolutely take a sanding sponge and sand that flat. But they're going to be in a bowl filler, so I'm not worried about that at all. My goal is to emulate the blackened beeswax on the primitives. I did do one ahead of time, and look at this, guys. It turned out great. So I'm going to show you how I did these. And they smell great because I sprinkled them with my grunge sprinkle. Here was the second egg that we did. So the first thing that I am doing, I'm giving a coat of black on each side, and I'm using a black, I know it's hard to see because I've got paint all over it, but this is a black matte acrylic paint. You could also use black chalk paint, but that's what I have. And you may or may not hear Emma barking because Papa went to the store and she's not happy about that. But you're just gonna paint, and you'll see that I have cracks. These are primitive pieces, so it's okay. So we're gonna paint, we'll paint the bottoms and get those dry so that we can work on the tops. And there's the bottom of one, completely black. I'll be taking my blow dryer on the cool setting and drying each piece as I go along. Now we'll add black to the top. These are so easy, guys. Get in all the cracks. Get good coverage, get all where it shows white. Get around the edges, make sure there's no white showing. And then I'm going to dry this coat with the blow dryer. Put this down. Our next coat is a mixture. I've got 2 things going here. I've got some black on this side and then a dark brown. And the dark brown I'm using is, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is spelled ASPHALTUM. I've used this for years in my primitive painting, but it's a really dark brown. And I have some right here, and I'm going to pull that in to the black, and I just pull it right in, kind of like that. And then I'm just going to pull in, trying to get mostly the high points. But it's a very, very dark brown. As little or as much as you like. And if you get too much, you can come back in with the black. And then we'll take some of our grunge sprinkle. Probably too much, which is fine. I just need a little on this side. I I might be able to take some of this, yeah, and come over here. That was probably a little much, but we'll just sprinkle it all over and it'll be fine. I'm using a fan brush for that. And you can kind of see here, just sprinkle that off. And then we'll take the blow dryer again. And this one looks like that. And I think it's pretty close to what the blackened beeswax looks like. I just left the bottom black, but you could also add some of your leftover sprinkle on the bottom. We'll do one more piece. We'll do one of our little crosses. And these dried really hard. They are not going to break. We'll do the bottom. And remember, we textured the top. Now we're going to take our pulled brown over the top, and you're just giving like a dark brown tint. We'll put this down, and then maybe I'll just put this in my fingers and sprinkle that way. All right, I'll put that to the side, and we'll brush this off a little bit. And then I'll use the blow dryer to dry that one. And look at that. I know it's hard to see because of my gloves. So I am going to finish up my tart, the star, the remainder of my crosses, and the hearts, and I'll show you how I am going to style these. The next thing we'd want to do is style each piece. I do want to show you this up close. I think it absolutely resembles the blackened beeswax bowl fillers. And these are really hard, so you don't have to worry about that. Look at our little heart. So what I will do is you could pick up, just grab some hemp cord, and I've got some dried herbs here. But let's take something like this. See how much you want. Maybe like that. And just tie it up and trim it off. Snip off a piece of our herbs here. And stick it in there. These are pretty dried out, so they may come apart. Yeah, we lost some leaves, which is fine because you could just trim this part off. Bring that down a little. And then how pretty is that? Maybe trim a little more of this off. I will go ahead and finish up the rest of these. I'll come back and show you. I also have a special bonus project for you because of course we have to have something to display them in, right? I'm going to show you how to build something really easy and it is still primitive. We are going to need something pretty to put our salt dough bowl fillers in. We are going to make a Lath dough bowl. So you can make these any size you want. I'm going to cut the pieces on my miter saw. I picked up 400 4-foot lath wood sticks last week, so we need to use those up. I am going to give them a quick sand before I use them because I am not going to stain these or anything. I'm going to use them as is. And I noticed that this one was a little wider. You get all kinds of sizes when you get these boards, which is fine because I needed something a little wider for the sides. But I'll show you that in a minute. Let me get to sanding. And just a reminder, these boards are old. You don't know how long they've been out in the elements. They came out of old houses. So make sure you're wearing your mask and your safety glasses. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I am a build as you go type of gal. Before we go any further, we need to figure out how large we want our Lathwood dough bowl to be. I already have 12-inch pieces here, and I think I like that much of a gap in between. These will be the two longer sides. As such, then I need to measure here, and I think that's going to be about 4 inches because we need a piece of this to go inside here. So I'll cut these to 4 inches on the miter saw and I'll be right back. I cut these pieces to 4 inches and they're going to go on the end. Like that. And then we're just going to use the nail gun to put everything together. And then we just have 2 more pieces to add. And I will give you a recap of all the measurements again. So this is basically a box. And then we're just going to put these on here. And we'll just nail gun our box first. There's our box. And then we'll just add these pieces. And space these out like you want. And here is our dough bowl, Lathwood style. It's almost complete. We just need to measure this. This is 5.5 inches, and I'm going to make this, the last 2 pieces, 7 inches. So we need 2 more pieces, preferably the longer pieces, at 7 inches. We've got our 7-inch boards. This will be the handle for the dough bowl. And just measure, we said this was 5.5, so 2.75 will be the center. These were 7, so these will be 3.5 for the center. And just line those up. I am going to run a bead of glue on here. Now these boards are a little thicker than the little lath boards that you get at, say, Home Depot or Menards. These are actually 1 inch thick. So I had to switch out the nails in my nail gun. I went with 1 9/16 inch. But we can go ahead and attach this. All right, measure our centers here. Looks pretty centered. And those are on there. And you have a cute little lath wood dough bowl. Isn't that darling? All I'm going to do, I'm not going to paint it, I'm not going to stain it. I know that you're all shocked that I'm not staining it. I am just going to add a polyacrylic over everything to seal it in. And we are ready to put some bowl fillers in here. But I just love this. So let's go over the measurements one more time. Let me put everything away. For the bottom, we needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 inch. The sides, 2 sides, 12 inch. The short side was 4 inch. And then the 2 handles for the sides was about 7. I'm a little short, but 7 inches. And this could be any size you want. If you wanted them shorter, you could. But basically, it's a lip. But how cute is that? I'm just going to add a matte clear coat. Let it dry. And then we can put some things into our new little dough bowl. As you can see, you can make this any size you want. That's the beauty of it. And it's just so darling. And you could use any wood you wanted to. I changed my mind about adding anything to it, but I think I want to add, I just want to dry brush some white streaks on it. Maybe to give it a little aged look. So I've got this Snow White chalk paint. I'm just going to try that. And I'll get that brushed off. And I'm just going to go kind of like that. Not too much, but there we go. I think I like that. Now all that's left to do is to fill your cute little primitive lathwood dough bowl. I added some coffee stained cheesecloth, some dried herbs, and our primitive Faux Blackened Beeswax salt dough bowl fillers. And I think that this project came out better than I expected. I love the look of the salt dough bowl fillers, the dried herbs in there, and of course I love the dough bowl. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until the next video, God bless. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that you never miss a video. And if you're returning, thank you so much. And if you have found value in this video, please like and comment.